Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have all heard the arguments from the defense, which consists of APAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Let me read what I have documented here. The Jewish state is in a dangerous neighborhood and are under constant threats from rockets, terrorists, and those seeking its destruction. Israel relies on America in order to confront all challenges it faces. Now, the opposition revolves around three things. First, Israel has real security claims against the Palestinians and their neighboring countries. Second, Israel has justifications for their actions in the Middle East. Third, the opposition claims that United States involvement on Israel's side is due to their solidarity towards Israel. Now, I'm going to put forward a few standpoints to address these claims from the opposition. First, the Palestinians' threat to Israel is exaggerated, and Israel does not have justifications for what they are doing in the Middle East. Like the Jewish professor Norma Finkelstein said, Israel is ranked as the fourth leading military army in the world, and in contrast to that, Palestine is 1/5 of Albania and half the population of Kuwait. Is it really a threat? If we're going to quote from the former Prime Minister of Israel, Abba Eban, who said, Israel has as much to fear from a Palestinian state as the Soviet Union does from Luxembourg. Can you believe that? It's ridiculous. It is as ridiculous as to say that Ronald Reagan claimed that Grenada was a real security threat, or George Bush when he said that Nicaragua was a real security threat. I mean, it's no credibility to it. You know? That's my first point. My second point is, if I'm going to quote the Jewish professor Norman Finkelstein when he said that Israel stands on a much weaker position to justify their actions than the Palestinian does to justify their suicide bombers towards Israelis. Israel is a warmongering state. Every day they are discussing, should we attack this country? Should we attack that country in the Israeli newspaper? For example, Iran, Palestine, Lebanon, or Syria. They're discussing that every time. Second of all, they are reacting disproportionately toward this Palestinian attack, and they claim they have justification for that. The reason why they are doing that is to provoke an attack from the opposition so they can justify their occupation, their illegal occupations of, for example, East Jerusalem or other states that they should not have. Yes. And for example, what I said, they are totally disproportionate. Let me read what I have documented here from the Gaza war. In the Gaza war, from Operation Protective Edge, the casualties on the Palestinian sides was 2,192 people, whereof 70% were civilians. on the Israeli sides, there were 72 people, whereof 6 of them were civilians. Under the Gaza war of 2008 to 2009, the casualties on the Palestinian sides were 1,330, whereof 500 were children. On the Israeli side, it was only 13. And they claim they have the Palestinians are the bigger threat, or the neighboring countries. I wouldn't believe so. What they are doing is they are conducting the same ethnocentrism as they did in Germany. It's basically Germany all over again. They are trying to establish a greater Jerusalem and a greater Israel, even though East Jerusalem are Palestinian under international law. And they are radicalizing, what they don't think about, they are radicalizing the opposition. They are infecting this conflict. They are pouring gasoline on the fire with the attempt to extinguish it, basically. And I'm going to go even further than what I have just presented. Israel is violating international law, and several human rights organizations have condemned them, such as I've again have documented in this paper. As you all can see, these are organizations condemning Israel. Fourth Geneva Convention of 1949, ICC, the International Criminal Court, Hague Regulations of 1907, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, United Nations Security Council, and the United Nations General Assembly, and finally the Goldstone Report. And what have these organizations said? They have said it's illegal to transfer a civilian population into the occupied territory. Recent as yesterday when it was television, there have been a transfer of approximately 50,000 Israelis in the occupied territory. Yeah. And it's also illegal to confiscate land, water, or resources to the occupied for the Israeli settlements, which the Israelis have done, by the way. Yeah. As Richard Goldstone, leader of the Goldstone Report, established by the United Nations Security Council, who also was the chief prosecutor in the war crimes in both Rwanda and in Yugoslavia in the 90s. He said Israel's goals with the attack in the Gaza war of 2008 to 2009 was to punish, terrorize, and humiliate a civilian population. Terrorize. That doesn't sound very bright, does it? Yeah. That's what they say. So, I'm a bit sick, sorry. Despite all these facts, United Nations is continuing their traditional friendships and solidarity towards Israel. I wonder, why is that? I'm going to explain to you why is that. Two quotes from the Democratic politician Jim Traficant when he said that Israel has a powerful stranglehold on the American government, and that the American government are conducting expansionist policies of Israel. And to quote from the former Israeli Prime Minister, Ariel Sharon, when he said, "Don't worry about American pressure on Israel. We, the Jewish people, control America, and Americans know it." So, what I want to say is that for the small numbers, the Jews exercise an enormous amount of power on the affairs of government in the United States. The Israel lobby consists of 4% of the Jewish American community who are right-wing supporters of Israel. Yes. And they are controlling most of the media, who is dependent on advertisement, who can be withdrawn, withheld, dependent of what is said in media. And all these reasons is explaining why United States, on every resolution that is put forward by United States Security Council and General Assembly, are always reacting it, because they have veto right. And they are under Jewish influence, basically. For example, in 2008, the United Nations Security Council put forward a resolution to a two-state solution. 161 countries voted for this, and the United States forbid it and voted against this, with Israel and some other countries. In 2011, the United States, the United Nations General Assembly or Security Council, I don't know, some of them, said that the Israelis' settlement on the Palestinian territory was illegal, and that both Palestinians and Israelis should act on the basis of international law. And they put forward a resolution to end the conflict. And even then, the United States put in their veto and rejected it. And through the United States putting in their veto, they are enabling Israel to escape from international law. And as I said before, the Congress works the fuel of campaign contributions, as what Charles Freeman Jr. said, an American diplomat. And under 2008, the second largest contribution to Obama as a candidate to win the election was Goldman Sachs, an international Jewish and multinational Jewish investment bank. So the evidence is overwhelming. And to finish this all, I'm going to quote Norman Finkelstein when he said that Israel has this spurious notion that they're keeping the occupied territory for security reasons. And if United States really want to settle the conflict, how can they be so biased towards Israel? I mean, that's not even logical. I mean, I don't know how you are supposed to engage in resolving a conflict that way, to be supportive of one part and not be objective. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Finally, I'm finished.